As a small biz pro, I saw we roll, using procurement, program and control. As a small biz pro, I saw we grow, using procurement, program and control. I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Oh yeah. I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Ooh, yeah. I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is the Business Zone with
Crystal
and Gilbert Buchanan, your small business paramedic. Happy Good Friday, Crystal.
Happy Good Friday to you.
I didn't even know it was Easter.
I know. I mean, that's kind of the thing that we go through here now, right? We're in this whole new kind of world that it appears that we never leave from our homes, and so the world is going on, and unless you come out of your front door, you never know what's happening. And so somebody, I think Rhonda, Rhonda Santaford, that I do the Biz
Yeah.
Camp Kids with,
Yeah.
she says, so we have camp tomorrow on Saturday. I said, okay, cool. I'm here, no problem. She goes, well, do you think it's gonna be a problem? It's gonna be the Saturday before Easter. I said, well, where is anybody going? They shouldn't have a problem. there is no Easter shopping
That's
because
right.
you're at home in front of your television or your
Yeah.
computer. So it should not be a problem at all. Now, maybe we got a couple of kids. I think there's one child whose parents are ministers. Okay, you might have a problem with him, mainly because his parents actually, they really go into the churches to do their online, set up for their online. Other than that, not a problem. But yeah, it's weird. Can you imagine? It's been 1 year since we have been kind of in this captivity kind of place.
Since we've been in prison. 1 year since we've been in the penitentiary.
Right, 1 whole year. We come out, we come out for a little bit of stuff. I took a vacation. It felt like I was on another planet. In fact, it's been so hard to readjust because of the fact that I had a whole nother. It was like going to another planet. I saw other people. It was just like another. I mean, we had masks on, obviously,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's been interesting. And I don't know. We would think that we would be coming out of this soon, but because people are still doing what people do,
Because
then
people
I don't
are
know.
stupid.
Right, people are still doing what people do.
We're
and
hitting the fourth wave right now.
we're on the fourth wave. So I don't know. How do we come out of this? It's just insane.
It's going to be difficult. It's going to be really, unless everyone takes a vaccine, which we know they're not going to.
right.
So it's going to be tough, man. It's going to be tough.
Yeah, it's gonna be really difficult because of the fact, right? Because everybody is still very leery about the vaccine.
Yeah.
And I'm still speaking to people who are leery about the vaccine, but there's still been millions of people that have gotten it.
Yeah.
And you got yours? I heard you got yours.
No, not yet. Not yet. I haven't gotten it yet.
Oh, when did you read you scheduled?
I need to go online and register.
Oh, I thought I sent you the email, and I thought I got an email that said you were going. No?
Yeah, I said I wanted to, but I never got a chance to register with the link, so I got to do that. Yeah.
Okay, so you got to reach out. No, I gave Bonnie at the Urban League your contact information.
Oh, okay.
And she reached out to you.
Oh, she did?
Or she's supposed to have been sending you an email in order to schedule. So you might want to check on that.
Okay, I'll check that. That.
But yeah, it's
yeah, that's been a big thing, man. And then Saturday, last Saturday, I was in South LA, and I was driving by, and I wanted to, I wanted something to drink, so I stopped at the little corner liquor store there to get me something refreshing. So
Okay.
I just got out of my car and walked into the store, not even thinking I wasn't wearing my mask. I noticed people are looking at me funny, like, who the heck is this guy? What is he doing? So after I sat there for a little bit, I said, "Oh my God, I don't have my mask on." So I had to rush back to the car. I felt so strange. I felt weird, man.
Right, exactly.
I felt like an outcast or
Yeah,
something.
I always carry a mask in my purse, several of them in my
Yeah,
purse, and I have
yeah,
4 or 5 of them hanging. I have onto the dashboard. I have 4 or 5 of them hanging there. So it's
yeah.
like the mask has become
A
your
part of
neck.
you,
Yeah, it's part of your
part of your
ensemble,
accessory.
your accessory. So you
So,
have
so
to.
when you're getting dressed, you go earring, lipstick, purse, mask.
In fact, I had to. In fact, I had to when we were on vacation. What we actually did was we I had like a whole bunch of them just sitting on the thing. So whenever I come into the room, I throw one away, grab another one. So I took a box of them with me in order to just to hang out. Because you never know, right?
Yeah,
And you just
yeah,
have to go through some other criterias in the
yeah,
way you actually do you live life now.
yeah. That's strange, man. It is strange,
Yeah,
but
it is.
we made it. For the year, we made it for a year now. So
And we're live,
we
so
are
that's a
live.
good
So
thing.
it ought to be easier now, right?
Right. It's just, like I said, it's just all part of regular life right now. Some
Yeah,
people actually are going to be a little bit more uncomfortable trying to come back out of this.
yeah, yeah,
Right. So they're saying people are a little worried about going back to regular
yeah.
world.
Because they're going. Oh, am I going to get infected?
Exactly. So now you got to really stop to think about what works for you and what doesn't work for you,
Yeah,
and if you're comfortable to be out there amongst the peoples.
yeah,
So yeah, it's a different kind of world we're living in, actually, to be quite honest with you.
yeah.
I mean, so what was your week like this week?
Oh man, so this week I was finalizing some certifications. I had some deadlines, so I was trying to get all the paperwork together. Doing certification is not really difficult. Getting the paperwork from the client, that's the difficult part. Because
Yeah.
most businesses, they're not in compliance. They don't have all the documents they need. They don't know what documents they need to run their business. So when they decide to do certification is when they realize that they don't have everything in order. Even though they'll tell you that they're business ready and they're contract ready, they're not ready. I am
Well,
yet to meet a small business that is ready and have all their paperwork in order.
that's the purpose of your that's
System.
the
Yeah,
system, right? Is so
right,
that people will be ready and
right.
get ready. So
And even that they don't want to do because they're going, why am I paying $29.99? It's like this is $1 a day. If you can't afford to spend $1 a day on your business, then you don't deserve to be in business. I mean, $1 a day?
but
Come
that's
on.
interesting because most software today you have to pay. In the very beginning when we had apps and things like that, right? When
Yeah,
we first
yeah,
got apps,
yeah,
you had like a 30-day trial,
yeah,
and then it went maybe you. I have quite a few of them that are 14.99, but there are some that I'm paying significant amount of money, but that's because that I use them in my daily life, and I
yeah,
guess that's what it is, right? We
yeah.
as business owners recognize tools that will help us be able to continue to create a system. That's what those
Right,
tools are for,
right,
is to help
right.
you create systems, and then you just do what you do, right? And it's
Yeah,
not so complicated. But maybe there are businesses out there that don't do that. You think?
right, right. They don't care. I had one guy who after I told him about features and benefits of Small Biz Pro, he said, "Oh, okay, that sounds good." But then when I'm ready to register him, he said, "Oh, so what's the benefit of this?" And I'm going, "I just told you." I said, "You know what? You're not ready for this, man. Let's move on to
And what
somebody
was
else."
his business?
He's a nonprofit. He's running a nonprofit. And nonprofits are highly regulated. You got to have your compliance documents in place. Most of the times, they don't even know if they file a 1023. And if they did file a 1023, at the end of the year, they need to file their 990s. And they're going, "Oh, I was supposed to do that."
And also the statement of information, which
And
they
the
may or
statement of
may not.
information,
Yeah,
yes.
they may or may not. And for the state of California, if you're not having someone
The-
actually do your 990s, you got to make sure that you file that 199 in. If you have not,
yeah,
depending on how much money you're making, right?
yes,
You're bringing in that's being
yeah,
donated. And if you don't do that, the state of California will definitely cancel your butt.
yeah.
And they don't tell you.
And if you're a nonprofit like our HOA is, then you got to file a form 3500 with the state of California to demonstrate tax exemption status. So many of them don't even know those things, and that's what the system does, because all those forms you just described, Crystal, they're at the bottom of the gallery of documents. It's at the bottom down there as templates that they can download and use.
Right, right, exactly.
So it's unbelievable. So he's asking me, what do I need this for?
Yeah, I don't know, but I do know that when we did the workshop, it was I got a lot of feedback afterwards, and
What did they say?
But basically they felt it was very informative, and that they need, they want the other classes we talked about, the capability. But I think the people that we had on were people that really are looking to take their businesses to that next level. And I will say, COVID, this is the silver lining. So part of that is that because they had to go through what they had to go through in order to get their PPP and any other grants or anything that's out there to relieve them, right? They already had to they already had to get the tax returns. They already had to do X, Y, and Z in order for that to happen. So now and I think because we've had them at a captive audience for this whole year, they're excited about what the opportunities may be on the other side. Now, that's not everyone, but that is a few of them. And I think we just have to figure out how we can tap in and stay tapped into that particular grouping of people.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we'll keep checking and see, how many of them want to take advantage of this, man, because this is great for them,
Now, with the program you're doing with the legacy program, the how is that going?
It's going great. We've got 40 participants signed up, and next week I'm gonna do an overview of what's required in the program, and also how to get them registered in Small Biz Pro so they can use the platform to run and manage their business. Because if they're not using it, I'm just going to have to kick them out of the program, because this is the only way we can measure their their activity, their performance in the program. If they're uploading their documents, if when they come in, they score maybe 75%, and then we're able to measure the business by looking at how they're uploading the docs, what they're learning, then that's the only way we can say these businesses are improving. But if they're not registered in the system, there's no way we can say, okay, they came in at 75, now they're at 95. There's nothing to measure.
Well, I think that's a good way anyway. I've always been of the mindset that if you got something to dangle on the other end, right? That carrot. You can get that carrot, then you can get people to buy in and they can see the value. And here's a free program, that Vermont Slauson is providing to really help these businesses elevate. And the only thing that your give back is to be able to sign up for Small Biz Pro, right?
Yeah.
So that's a
Yeah.
small token of commitment based upon here, here's an organization, they're a CDFI that they can actually provide you funding to really take your business and now you're in the system, right? It's
Yeah.
like being part of a fraternity or sorority. So
Yeah.
now they're going to be there to help you grow your business.
Yeah. Yeah.
And today, you saw what Biden did, right? For our the $2 trillion infrastructure, and he's really talking about pushing that in. They're talking about an increase over 19 million new jobs.
Yeah.
And so that means, and infrastructure obviously means that a lot of our minority businesses can get in on this, but they got to be ready. They
got to be ready.
You got to be ready. This is a way we can literally change the wealth gap by the fact that there will be all these infrastructure jobs and infrastructure businesses, construction. That's usually a 5-10 year period.
Yeah.
Right. So that could be a contract for you for 5 to 10 years. So I think that's a small caveat or a small commitment for you. So hopefully it works, and I'm excited. With the businesses. So, and if we got 40 businesses registered, then that's phenomenal.
Oh, for sure, because then we can show the growth and progress of these businesses. And this is only phase one. This is series one. So series two, we may have more enrolled, probably have 50 or 60. And we walk all of them through the program, get them developed, get their capacity built, get all the key documents they need, like a capability statement. One lady runs a driving school, right? And she does driving, and also she has like traffic school. So if somebody gets a ticket, they go to classes with her, and then they get it expunged.
Oh,
okay. So yeah, so it's pretty neat, but she needs some help. She needs some help in a lot of different ways. There's no marketing videos that she has, so we're going to help her to develop some of those, and we'll measure her successes in a program. When she first came in, where she was at, and when she graduated from the program, how many areas in her business have been developed as a result of this program.
Right. And that's important. People, you have to see where you are.
Yeah.
You just can't keep going on through business and just guessing that you're in business. Hey, Calvin, welcome to the Business Zone with Crystal and Gilbert. We're glad to have you.
All right, Calvin. Welcome, sir. Welcome.
Yeah, so I'm excited, and I know from all of us that are part of it's several levels to it, right? So you got the advisors, you got the trainers, you have
the consultants.
The consultants, yeah. So
and here's the beauty. Here's the beauty too. Not only are they going to learn about their business, but they're also going to do a SWOT analysis of their business, and the recommendations that are made are the ones that they're going to have to use, like a milestone plan. So if part of your recommendation was to convert your sole prop into a C corp, then that's something they're going to achieve within that program, which is going to be great. If part of the recommendation is to increase your marketing presence, that's going to be great.
Yeah, no, I think that's fantastic, because identifying where your strengths are is going to be really, really, and your weaknesses and threats, because after this particular crisis, and there's going to be many more crises, and in our businesses there have been many, but if we didn't know where we were weak at, then we can't fix things, and we can't find support for us. So it's going to be pretty awesome, and that's going to be, that kind of falls into what we're talking about today. So for those of you that are tuned into the business zone, April is designated as Financial Literacy Month. And so it's really important that we understand as people, how do we grow our businesses? How do we grow our financial net worth? How do rich people do that, right?
Yeah,
So
right.
it's not something that takes place just by chance. It's because you're actually putting time and effort into making that happen.
Right.
Yeah, so it's so important. I'm excited.
Oh
I'm going to
yeah.
share something with you.
Yeah.
Let me see. Let me share this. Start to share the screen. I have an article in a magazine called The Z Spot.
Mm.
And I did, the article is on financial awareness, and it's called Saving for a Rainy Day.
So
So if
what
anybody,
does Z mean? What's the Z spot?
so Z Spot, I have a client. Her name is Melba. MJ Duffy. She wrote a series of books called the Zonkley Chronicles.
Yeah. Oh
And
yeah.
yeah, so she's a client of mine, and we've been working on how to really market her books, to sell more books, but also to attract more fans and readers. And so she created this magazine, and it's called the Z Spot. So it's a really neat magazine. Let me see if I can take the caption off so you guys can actually see it, and I can show you where to go get it. She's worked very hard. She, again, understanding where your sources are, and so she did a thing with what is it called, Upworks.
Oh, okay.
And this lady actually did this for her. So it's a magazine, and this is my article. It's on page 16, and I'll put
All right.
in the search engine. I mean, in the chat box, how you guys can get it. But let me take you back to the beginning of the magazine. So this is her second magazine, but it's really well done.
Yeah.
And so the person that she hired, she uses a template, and then it has the information. And that today this month was on Money, Fame, and Pursuit, and that's Billie Holiday.
Yeah.
And so so you can subscribe for the magazine. It's a free subscription. She takes advertisement. So she talks about what's going on in life, and she talks about her books. And this is an excellent way. She actually recruits and to get other authors to write articles. And so I was one of those authors for this month. And then that's how she compiles the magazine. And so the story this week, the highlight is on the young lady that played in the Billie Holiday movie. Yeah. So just something.
This is nice. This is nice.
Is that not nice? Yeah. So having a magazine highlight what businesses you do. Last month she did it on. It was Women's Business Month, so she actually talked about the women that were all elected in 2020. And then she also did a highlight on Sydney Kamlager, who was elected for state senator in the state of California. So she did a whole article on her, and then there were some other articles from other individuals in the community. So something to think about. And she had, like I said, she hired a virtual person to put together the template and help her get it together. And now he just has to add articles to it on a monthly basis.
That's nice. That's nice.
Yeah. Nice. So something to think about.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
Yeah, because you got to be creative in this day and age.
Got to be creative. Got to be different, man. They say one of these things is not like the other. I want to be that one thing that is not like the other.
Right. So, and you can reach a broader audience, and people are more connected to reading information, and it's an online method. So again, that's kind of what we're going to talk about today. So let's jump on so this is Financial Literacy Month.
Yeah.
I know that a lot of us think that we really know a whole bunch of stuff about how we manage our money. And what's so interesting about it is people love money,
Yeah.
but they don't understand money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So so a lot of us think we know a lot of stuff about a lot of stuff, and we don't. We don't.
so so
So
financial
this is gonna put things in perspective for us.
It is. So this is a challenge to our audience. And so here's the deal. Financial literacy is a celebration and a challenge. So
Mm,
it is a chance to reflect on the state of our personal finances and an opportunity to improve those finances one step at a time. So we're going to share with you. This is a 30-step program, but we're going to share with you 12 steps that I think is a good way to get started. So we're going to ask you guys to take a pledge and take the challenge to for this year in 2021 to really take a look at your finances and get them in order, and so that we can move forward. So after COVID, after the crises, we have a game plan. We have a plan to move forward. You
mm.
agree, Mr. Gilbert?
Oh, I totally agree. I totally agree.
So,
Financial management is the Achilles heels of not only small businesses, but also of many minorities, because we're thinking, we don't need to know about that. If we need anything about that, we can get our bookkeeper or accountant to take care of it for it. No, that's a bad way of looking at it. Because I think,
well, especially since when someone asks you and you got to hunt down your
yeah,
bookkeeper or
yeah,
your CPA in
yeah,
order to find out the answer.
yeah.
That's a
Like
bad
it's
thing.
like do you have your balance sheet? Let me check. Let me reach out to my bookkeeper. Bookkeeper is on vacation. Bookkeeper is on
Right.
vacation.
And then people are going, you don't know your own stuff. How does the
Yeah.
bookkeeper know your stuff and you don't know your stuff? So that's what we want you to. So our first one is a commitment to change, right? So
Right.
it first starts as a mindset, which everything starts as a mindset.
Yeah.
Even to have, what we were just talking about, to want to take your business or grow your business is a mindset, right? You
Yeah.
got to embrace that to be able to say, okay, I'm going to have to do X, Y, and Z to make changes so that I can receive or increase my revenue or my profit, right? That's not
Hmm.
just something that just happens. It's something that we actually have to do. So the first and most important step is developing and following a financial plan to examine your attitudes toward money. And I
Hmm.
think also, Gilbert, on identifying where the origins of your attitudes for money took started,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Because if you have parents that were pretty frivolous with money, and they didn't teach you on the art of saving, then it's going to be a problem, right?
Right. Right. Right.
Yeah. So I think to identify where you are in that process, and
Hmm.
also to accepting responsibility to changing your financial system. So you have to know, you have to ask some questions of yourself. Do you believe you can and will change your financial decisions, and can you identify at least one benefit you hope to gain by changing your money management behavior?
Right. And some of that change or benefit that you may receive, it could be one, you're going to change your bookkeeper or change your tax preparer, because sometimes tax preparers, they don't really bring any value to your business or your life. So
Mm-hmm.
why interface with someone that brings no value to your life? So that's probably why they're going to need to spend some time with these folks. But understand that these are folks that, one, is going to contribute to them, and two, they've got something tangible or something valuable to bring to that union. They have to have something valuable.
Right, exactly, exactly. So that's step one, being committed to a change, to make a change. You can take one step at a time, but you got to identify some things so that you can actually get started. So, step two is assessment of your financials. Where are you right now, right? How
Yeah.
are you literally doing financially? What are your strengths? What are the areas of improvement? This is an opportunity. You got to be honest with yourself at this time and your
Right.
relationship with money. So writing down your feelings and your findings as to what are your finances. Do
Mm-hmm.
you, if you look at your, as I always tell my new clients, do you have more month than you have money, right? At the end of the day, do you have more bills coming in at the end of the month than you have money? Then you
Right.
got to really stop and think about, what do I need to do? Do you let that just continue for
Right.
in perpetuity, or do you go, I need to identify some other ways to increase my money,
Yeah.
and so that I can pay, or maybe I need to reduce some of my financial obligations, and maybe I don't need them. Maybe you
Right.
need to stop eating out. I think a lot of people during COVID saved a whole lot of money,
Yeah.
right? Because I
That's
don't know
true.
about right. I don't know about you. How much was it costing you to fill up your gas tank prior to COVID?
Oh man, about $60. And that would be like every 2 weeks, $60. And
Okay.
during COVID, man, that one tank lasted maybe 3 or 4 months.
Oh, you you never went out.
That one tank lasted 3 or 4 months, man. I was happy.
Right. So it was I think in the very beginning of COVID, 6 weeks, because I would go out to the market or to the bank or what have you. So it was like a 6 month period.
Yeah.
Now I think I'm filling up once a month.
Yeah.
And gas has gone back up. And at that point, you
Yes.
could fill up, right? Because gas was like down in the
Yeah.
$2 marker. Now it's
269 or something like that.
right, exactly. We hadn't seen gas in that price, so we were able, really, truly, to save a lot of money
Yeah.
uh, during this time, right? Because you weren't spending it. The only thing you were spending money on was food, and for those that were doing home projects, you were spending money on home projects. Now I have a garden, so we spent quite a bit of money on that. But no buying clothes. Um, and you were living in your pajamas in the early part of the days.
And I think that transitioned into step number three, which speaks about getting rid of your financial clutter, clearing it out. Because if we're using the gas narrative as one example, then
Uh-huh.
by us filling up our tanks and it's lasting us for 3 4 months, that's a good thing. What else can we look at either minimizing or doing away with?
Right,
So
exactly.
so those are some of the things we want to do. If you had a bookkeeper monthly that you're paying, but because of COVID, you're staying home and you're doing some of the work yourself and you're not needing the bookkeeper as frequently, then there's some clutter that you just remove. You just remove
Exactly.
some unnecessary expenses.
Right, because you didn't, and so gas was one. If you were accustomed to going out and spending, $100, $200 or $300 to $400 a month on going out to eat, we didn't do that. Although we did order in some cases,
Right.
but we eliminated that. So if we were able to eliminate that for an entire year, then that obviously is not something mandatory that we have to do, right? So
Right, right,
we
right.
can restructure that, and you should have had some extra money.
Yeah.
And I think also, Gilbert, I had a client, what she did was she started recognizing that she had subscribed to a lot of different online apps and programs.
Yeah.
And then she started really looking at her bank accounts, and she started doing her own financials and doing her own bookkeeping. And so
Yeah.
she started eliminating a lot of that, and she freed up, $300 or $400 a month, which
Right.
then she was able to pay off some loans and so forth. And so now she has really restructured her financials. So I think we all can do that, right? So removing step number 3 is removing and clearing out your financial clutter.
Right.
So
Yep.
step number 4.
Right. Is setting yourself up for success. And in setting yourself up for success, you want to have a plan, so what is that plan? I usually tell my participants to establish a milestone plan. And that milestone will be anywhere from 12 months to 18 months. So in month 1, what is it you want to achieve? Month 2, what is it you want to achieve? Some plans, some items, some action items may stretch over 2-3 months, which is fine.
Right. Right.
For example, if you're trying to, get certified or certify your business, that may stretch over, 2-3 months. So you want to have those sharp deadlines and a description of what that is, which will, in order, help you to set up yourself for success.
Right.
So,
Exactly.
when they're setting these timelines, they want to be sure and realistic about it. Is that a reasonable time for us to do this? Like some people, I want to get certification, I want to get government contract, but are you certified? Are you ready? Oh, I didn't think about that. But can we start bidding on contracts? It's like we just talked about it. You need to get certified first. You need to get your financial house in order. And then let's go after these other things right here. So, yeah.
And I think one of the things that when you talk about setting up for success is to be able to find those systems, just like your system, that literally can save you money if you actually invest in it, because it's going to let you know in advance when things need to be renewed,
Yeah.
or if they need to be renewed, as opposed to them lapsing, and then it's going to cost you more money or may cost you a penalty in order to reinstate it. So
Right.
when we talk about setting up for success is, making sure that we're not spending unnecessary money for things that we could control.
Right.
But by just knowing that this is the time that we need to renew, or here's a product that we could actually utilize that can help increase our money, help us maybe increase our revenues, and at the same time make us successful. And even at home,
Yeah.
I mean, I think I read something that Andrew, what was the guy that was running for office? Andrew, was it Andrew Young? Yang, right. So I saw a quote that he did yesterday that says, if you need a root canal today and you put that off, it's going to cost you more money tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a very good point. And that's one of the things I wanted to point out. Like, you remember I said last week, right? There are some clients who they're know-it-alls, so they come to me and they need assistance. So I decide to start helping them, and no, we're not ready for this yet. We don't want to do this, and start questioning and challenging me. Then all of a sudden some kind of situation hit them and they realize that I was the best thing. Then all of a sudden they come running back.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah.
Right. That happens a lot. Somebody, wanted, to ask me to help them start their business, or they wanted coaching.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, I don't know if I can afford that. Okay. So then they go away. And then in about 3-4 years later, it's like, oh my God, I've spent so much money trying to start and I've never gotten started. I guess I should have just got started with you, paid you, and then I would already be there. I said, yeah, you'd be already 2 years into the plan, right?
Yeah.
But now you decided to take the long way around, and you spent some money on it and wasted some money when you could have been using that time and investing in a business coach or system that's going to help you be more successful is a lot more, is time saving, and it's also cost effective, because you could actually be 2 years or 3 years forward than you would be if you didn't. So the
That's
next one is
that's when you charge them the stupid tax, Crystal, for not paying attention and dragging things out, costing you time and money. Then you have to charge them the stupid tax. So that's one way they can end up spending more money when they
right,
get
because
charged the stupid tax.
yeah, they gotta charge this. Yeah, that's
Because not only did they waste your time and drag it out, but now they're late because they may have missed the deadline. For example, the city of Los Angeles, they have their business license expire February 28th. We've been telling many of these clients that, hey, you need to renew your license before February 28th. Oh, yeah, we're not ready. Now, February 28th came and went. So now the late fees on that is $300. So all of them who did not renew their license, they've got to pay 300 plus some late fees and all that, and some other fees.
and
So
some other fees.
yeah, so that's part of how they end up spending more money unnecessarily when they didn't need to. So yeah, I get you.
And I always tell clients, in fact, I told somebody recently, because they'll go to these workshops and so forth and so on, right? And they'll go. Someone tells them you need to be, you need to be an LLC. Okay, so you don't really know why you need to be an LLC. Just
Yeah,
somebody told you to do that,
yeah,
and you didn't go back to ask them why you should have
yeah,
been an LLC.
yeah,
And so this conversation takes place in October or November or December. They spend the money to become an LLC.
yeah.
They made no money whatsoever.
Right.
So come January, come March 15th, they got to
Yeah,
pay that $800 tax,
yeah,
right? And they're like,
yeah.
why do I have to pay that? Because you probably should have asked more details and read more research. Because I always tell people, if it's 6 months, 8 months into the year, don't become an LLC then.
Right,
Become an
right.
LLC in the beginning of the year, so that you don't have to worry about that $800 tax until the next year.
You're surprised how many small businesses spend a lot of time listening to street corner consultants, the ones out there on the street who knows nothing about business like we do, right? And even if they know about business, they don't understand the current events and activities that we deal with every day. So then they tell, oh yeah, go get an LLC. And that's all they tell them. So they don't explain to them that they need to do it after March 15th. So they don't
Right,
pay that.
exactly. So you don't have to pay. So don't do that like until after. Yeah, so that way you don't have to. But yeah, I cannot tell you how many times, and I know you have as well.
That's when you charge them the stupid tax, Crystal.
It's a shame. It's shameful. Then the next one, and this is an important one as well, and this kind of falls into that, right? Is get copies of your credit report, because
Yeah,
it's inevitable. You go and and it's like it's a fear. I don't want to know what's on there, and
yeah,
I don't want to deal with that. And if I just, and then something comes up like COVID relief programs
yeah,
and loan programs or other programs,
yeah,
and you're like, where did this come from? I didn't know any, and it could not be any of your doing at all.
yeah,
We live in a world right now, and you and I were just talking about this when we started the show. Fraud is at the
yeah,
highest level,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And people, I don't even know how I don't even know how they get your information, but
right.
they do get your information, right?
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden they've accessed your credit card
Right.
or a dormant card that you have not used, and you go there and you're like, wait a minute, why is there a balance on this? So
Yeah, yeah.
and so getting copies of your credit to find out where you are, to
Mm-hmm.
make sure that there's no fraudulent behavior going on
Right.
that is creating a problem on your credit. And so of course, then the one right behind that is, once you find out there is problems, now you can go in and you can clean that up, right? There are errors, and if it's nothing of your doing, all you need to do is write to them and they're generic letters all over the internet. You don't even have to pay a credit repair person that's going to charge you some astronomical amount of money
Yeah.
for you to write a letter and say, this is not a charge of mine. I don't know what this is. I've never seen this. I didn't have this account, and then they'll remove it. And here's the key. The Fair Credit Reporting Act says if that particular person cannot find the original documentation that you signed up and your signature on it, then they're going to take it off.
Right. And also, just so folks out there know and understand, I'm sure many of them know, but it's always good to reiterate certain points. The three credit reporting agencies, TransUnion, Equifax, and what's the other one?
TransUnion,
Equifax, and then there's a third one. Okay,
there's a third one. Let me find out for you.
So, you are entitled to get a free copy of your credit report every year. Once a year, you get a free copy of your credit report. You don't have to pay for it, and that allows you to look at it. That allows you to see what's on it, stuff that people are claiming against you that you didn't even know about, so that you're not blindsided. That's one thing. The next thing is the credit bureaus, you are allowed to put a lock on your account. That means people can't just all willy-nilly go in and apply for your to see your credit report. Like many of these vendors, hey, I want to see Gilbert's credit report to see if he's got a good score so we can do business with him. Doesn't work that way. You can request to have that locked so they can, arbitrarily look at your credit report. They have to call you to get permission. Now, the sad thing about that, and I think these credit bureaus need to step on this and make a change to it. The sad thing about that is that request is only good for a year. And only if you make the request. If you tell them, hey, I don't want anyone looking at my credit report unless I give permission. They have to call me and I verify it. Otherwise, I'm not I'm not responsible for those things. So they only do that once a year, which I think is crappy. It should default to that. So every credit bureau every vendor or creditor who wants to look at your credit report, when they check with the credit bureau say, hey, Gilbert, this person want to look at your credit report. Are you okay with that? Then I could say, heck no.
Right, exactly. Now you have some input, right? So, the third person is the third bureau is Experian.
Yeah,
so Experian. And so you should just you can use free platforms called Credit Karma. What is another one? There's Credit Karma. There's Credit Sesame or somebody like that. Sesame. So that they don't cost you any money, but you can set up for it and just find out what is on your credit report. And remember, if let's say you're let's say you had a joyful 20 in your 20s and your 30s, and now you're 40 or 50. You really haven't. You messed your credit up during that time frame. So everything drops off after a 10, 15-year period, right? So it's now you've restarted it in a clean slate. So there are a lot of people whose credit changed drastically after 2008, 2009, all the craziness that went on there. If they had not done anything credit-wise over that time frame, then pretty much they started out with no credit, which now you have a clean slate. Now you can be very cautious about who you're applying for and how you're applying for it. And as Gilbert says, making sure you ask very pertinent questions on who's going to pull your credit. Ask that question, because people can pull your credit willy-nilly, and that creates that drops your point. So the more you understand about credit, because that's unfortunately how the world runs, is based upon credit, and so the more knowledgeable you are. So do your homework. It's really important to do your homework.
And for those folks who are just tuning in, you have been watching The Business Zone with
Crystal
and Gilbert Buchanan, your small business paramedic. We are considered super consultants. We're here to help you guys, and we provide resources, guidance, and coaching to you every week from every Friday from 3 to 4 on this same station. You want to go to YouTube, youtube.com, or you could go to Facebook, facebook.com. And we're on there live, so you can check out our program. We are the number one small business podcast and radio show here, online radio show in Southern California for small businesses, providing you guidance, providing you information and access to resources. So just want to let you guys know. And Crystal, you want to tell them how to subscribe?
Yes, so go over to our YouTube channel and subscribe. We're looking to increase our subscribers. Now, Gilbert and I had made a commitment to you guys. If you subscribe to our channel, we were going to offer you a consultant, a complimentary consultant a consultation. So you really want to take us up. As Gilbert said, we're super consultants, and we both sit at some very interesting tables. So we have collectively a lot of knowledge that we love to provide for our small business owners. We want you to be successful. So that's why we do what we do. So go over and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're also always looking for guests. So if you have a business that you want to share, this is a great way to get some free marketing so people know that you exist and what your specialties are, and you can talk about it, and then you can use the video to share to bring in more clients. So that is what we do. So Gilbert, we're going to go back to number 7. Make your money count. Now, Mr. Gilbert, super consultant, he makes his money count.
That's right. That's right. He who knows how to count his own money gets to keep it. Just remember that. He or she who knows how to count their own money gets to keep it. So we've got to put systems in place. And one of the ways in which you want to do that is, if you're in business, if you're a small business, you want to make sure that you monitor your balance sheet, your profit and loss, and your statement of cash flow. You got to know those things. And don't just generate it once a year. Generate it either monthly or quarterly. I prefer monthly if you generate your balance sheet and your profit and loss and your statement of cash flow monthly, because then you know what's going in and what's going out. And, you look at your financial statements and you see any numbers on there in parentheses, then that's a number that went out, and you want to know, hey, where did that go? I didn't pay that. Who did that go to? Okay, so that's one way.
Yeah, so you want to make sure. And then the other thing is you want to make sure, like Gilbert says, have an accurate account of the money you have and what you want in the future. So I always say this to my clients, Gilbert. If one should set a goal at the beginning of the year of how much money they want to make.
Yep.
And then you got to work backwards, right?
Yep.
You got to say, so how many products or how many services do I have to make happen, or do I have to sell at my dollar amount in order to achieve this financial goal? So making sure that you know where your revenue is coming from, either if it's coming from the same source, and I hope not, and if it's coming from different sources, but being able to set a goal, an annual goal of how much money you want to make, how many products or books or whatever you're selling you want to sell, so that way you have a something to work toward. As Gilbert said, a milestone to work toward, right?
Yeah.
Because if you just willy-nilly going, I'm in business, I'm just going to make, or even personal, right? I'm making money this year. Okay, how much you make? Just the money. Okay, but or I want to make $200,000. Okay, that's a good goal. So how you gonna go about doing that? How, per month? Break that down per month.
Yeah.
So that you'll know what your expectations of yourself and what your resources are, so that you make sure that money counts.
And a simple example of that is, let's say you want to make $100,000 for the year, right? Like Crystal say, you want to calculate it going backwards. All right, 100,000 for the year. Okay, you take 100,000, you divide that into 12. That will tell you how much you're going to make monthly. So 100,000 divided by 12, then your monthly revenue generation should be $8,333.34. That's what you should make every month. All right. And if you want to break it down to weekly, then you divide that amount into 4, and you're going to get $2,083.34. So if you are trying to achieve a certain goal, that's how we recommend you do that. Now, you're looking at 8,300 per month. What can you do to generate 8,000 per month? Depending on the type of business you're in. If you're in consulting like us, are you going to do some workshops? Are you going to do some consultation? Are you going to do some coaching? Are you going to write some materials and market it online? How are you going to do that to get that 8,000? Like Crystal says all the time, and I hope you guys are listening. I'm just going to reiterate it one more time for you. Like Crystal says all the time, you need to have multiple streams of revenues. So if one stream is consulting, another stream is workshops. Another stream is going to be writing a book or writing some materials and marketing it. Then that's 3 streams right there. Do you need a 4th stream to get to your goal of $8,333 a month? If that's what you need, then you do it. So that's the kind of thing we're talking about. It's an easy system to set up, and you got to be committed in order to achieve your objectives.
Exactly. So that leads us into identifying your starting point. So let me read something that I hope resonates with people. The secrets of success, right? So when we look at the rich, then we look at the middle class and we look at the poor, right? Everybody has a different outlook on life. And so the rich attribute their success to abilities, hard work, and spirit, right? And they also recognize opportunities when they step up. They also weigh the risk versus the rewards. And so this is how they'll step out there and make some money, whereas others don't. So the middle class, they attribute their success to education and luck. Well, I don't know if luck is in this day and age, especially when you look at things like this crisis we've got, this pandemic. I think you had to add some more spice to that, right? Because luck don't always it don't always pan out, right? I don't know. Lottery has been around for 40 years. I don't know anybody that's ever won the lottery, but I know a lot of my friends that play the lottery, right? And so I think that right there is the best example of luck. If you ain't won the lottery and every week you go out and give them your dollar, I don't know. That's luck to me. And then the poor attribute success to cheating, connections, and initial capital. So I think that you need to kind of take the combination of the rich and the middle class, and you kind of work those together, right? In order to make sure, but you got to know where you're starting from. So you have to kind of work on self to get yourself past that mindset that's preventing you from being as successful as you like to be.
And pretty much a great starting point for you, whether you're a business owner, an entrepreneur, or you're just a private employee who is working for someone, which I discourage, but some people are 9 to 5. They rather do that than to be an entrepreneur. But whichever side of the coin you're on, you want to make sure you create assets for yourself. And that asset is not just going to be for you, it's going to be for your family. It's going to be part of your legacy, because we're not going to be hanging around here forever. Some people, some of us next week we may say bye-bye, but you want to show your footprint that you've done some stuff, and part of your footprint should be your assets. Was it real estate? Was it investment in some other type of venture, into a business or something like that. So
Right.
think about what assets you can create. And some of this could be an invention. Did you invent a product? Did you invent a process? What is it? So keep that in mind.
Yeah, exactly. So and your assets could be talents that you have, but you're
Yeah,
not utilizing those talents in order to help you be able to increase to change your mindset and change the path of success for you. So sometimes we just talk ourselves out of stuff. I think we talked about this with the ladies last week. Sometimes we are our worst enemies because of the fact that we talk ourselves out of using our abilities. I mean, Gilbert, you created a product 10, 20 years ago,
yeah,
and you could have walked away from that at that point, but you know that eventually you're going to hit that right sweet spot, and
yeah,
it's going to really pay off. So
yeah,
your investment and your time and your efforts into that,
yeah,
and the money that you've invested in that is very valuable.
yeah.
So just knowing, have a starting point, identify what your assets are, identify what your liabilities are. It's kind of like doing a SWOT analysis of your personal life, right?
Yeah, yeah,
What are my
definitely.
strengths? What are my weaknesses? What are the opportunities for me? And what are the threats that can derail me from moving forward?
That's a
So,
great way of explaining it, Crystal. Excellent way.
mm-hmm. Right. And then next, let's review our debt situation. I mean, it is what it is, right? But you can set some priorities, set some hardcore realities, and say, okay, I'm gonna get myself out of this. I'm going to pay off this car. I'm going to pay off this. I'm going to pay off that. Then I'm going to set what are going to be my new priorities for in order to move forward, right? So setting our priorities is creating our wants and our needs and establishing what your financial priorities are going to be.
Yeah,
I think that's very important. And a
definitely.
lot of us don't do that, right? We kind of go through that middle class mindset of going, well, hopefully,
Yeah.
prayerfully, we wish, maybe, and if I'm lucky,
We hope.
hope. So create you a list for your needs and your wants, and take care of the needs, and then make plans for the wants.
Right.
That's what I say in order to change that. And then the
Exactly.
next one, step 11, is setting up some financial goals. And so there's a system out there. I think years ago, Gilbert, we did a class and session on
Yeah.
the SMART goals. And
Yeah.
so
Would be good to brush off those techniques and go over it again with them right now.
I think so. So SMART goals is being very specific about what you want to change and how you want to achieve that. M stands for measurable, and Gilbert talks about this all the time. Measuring, creating a count or a milestone count
Yeah.
or goal for that goal that you're setting.
Yeah.
And number 2 is A, making sure that goal is achievable. So if
Yeah.
you say you want to buy $1 million house, make sure that's realistic.
Yeah.
And how you're going to make and have a very specific plan as how you're going to get to that $1 million house. Not
Right.
impossible,
Yeah.
but definitely requires some planning.
Yeah.
And then R stands for rewarding. Reach the goal. You should be rewarded for your hard work. So set some achievable rewards for making sure that you pat yourself on the back and you reward yourself. Not exact. Don't be extravagant. That it blows the whole plan. Don't be extravagant. Set it up, make it small, and make each milestone one step above the next, but don't be ridiculous. And then T is trackable. Set milestones and schedules for your goals. So, have some short term, some mid-term, some long-term goals in order to get to achieve your goals. And I think and I know that's detailed and I know it's hard sometimes, but I think, as I said, things don't happen by luck. things take place by planning.
That's right. That's right. And like Crystal always say, if you're not at the table being a part of the planning process, you are on the menu.
You are on the menu. So I personally don't like to be on the menu. I'm nosy and I like to be at the table and I not like to know what's about to happen to me.
That's right.
So I
And
can
be a part of that decision making
and be
process.
a part of that decision. I don't like folks making decisions for me. I'm
That's right.
sorry. I like to make my own. And then finally, looking at and discovering some additional. This is number 12, and there's quite a few more, but discovering additional revenue streams to enhance the ones that are static, right? So if you're working a job, then obviously your income is static and it's only going to increase by 3% every year, 3 to 5% if you're lucky. Maybe if you change jobs, you might increase it by another 10, 15, $20,000. But however, the more money you make, the more taxes you pay. So you really want to create some additional revenue streams that can add some planning so that you can have some tax savings in there. But there's so many things. Gilbert just kind of talked about it. This is the reason why you want to go through and do some assessment of your talents and your skills. You can make money with your talents and your skills and your hobbies.
Yeah. And Crystal, I have an associate who he does financial. He owns a few H&R blocks, and what he does, he works with small businesses and medium-sized businesses also. Show them how to maximize their revenues and their profits. I was talking to him today about my situation right now because I've got some retirement money stashed away in an account, a CalPERS account that I can't even touch because I no longer work with the government. So now I got to wait until I'm 65 to get that out of there. So he's telling me about a way in which I can use that money and roll it over into in a different account, a Roth IRA. You see what I mean?
Right.
So I can start making money on that, or I can put it in the stock market where I can buy some stocks, like in what's the name of that energy Tesla, right?
Yeah,
you can invested in Tesla or something like that. I'm going, wow, I never thought about that. I never thought about that because the money is just sitting there. It's just sitting there.
Yeah. Right. So, look how much money people made off of Zoom.
Yeah.
Because people were using Zoom, but not like people are using Zoom now.
Yeah.
Zoom stock increased some, I want to say, almost 200% from when it was when it went before. And I know I invested at the beginning of the year in some stock that I realized that was going to really take off. So Peloton, the bike. People were going to have to do their workout at home. My Peloton increased like 45%, right? Over what it would have done before. So I highly right now, there's some ways that you can start investing in the stock market using Robinhood and Stash that you can buy fractions of shares and then let those shares reinvest in each other until you're able to buy more. So I've been buying for those little bitty stocks. I've been buying. I've come in at $1, and then as it starts to increase, I might add another $100, another $200 into that space. This is not money I need to live on, but it's money that I'm investing for the long term. So I highly agree with that, Gilbert. And that's what I'm saying, taking stock of where you want to be and setting some priorities. So, for most of us, retirement is way down the line because of the way, especially if we're self-employed.
Exactly.
You might be working till you're 80 and 90 years old. So you have to make sure you have revenue stream to accommodate your 80 or 90-year-old life.
And I want to throw this out there real quickly because just remember this. Most of the information I share with you guys is because of information, that's things that I learned over the years. I stumbled and I've fallen so many times. And that's how I learned these experiences, right? So one of the ways that as entrepreneurs you can look at minimizing your expenses and your tax liability, if you're a sole prop or if you're an LLC, these are things you want to think about, right? You're being taxed 50% as a sole prop and as an LLC because you're paying 30. You're paying 35% in your taxes, right? And 15% in Social Security. 15%. So 15 plus 35, that's 50%. So think of it. You make $1 million, and $500,000 of that is going into taxes if you're a sole prop or an LLC. So think about that for a second. That's not a revenue stream for you.
No, that is not.
that is a liability stream. So you
Every
want
day
to
of the
think
week.
about that. Think about that. That's another way you can save some money. So talking to someone like Crystal or this associate of mine that I told you about to see how you can redirect some of that money into other pockets or other pots of investment can save you a lot of money.
Right. What did we say? Make your money count.
That's right.
So you want to go and find out where you need to go to do that. But we can't go through life looking at things or willy-nilly, right? We got to make some plans, and we got to make sure those plans, willy-nilly. You want to make sure those plans are working on your behalf. So, and this is a good time, Gilbert, because we kind of have taken a back seat. And we're quieter. We can think right now while we're in this crisis, and so this is the time to really make your plan. So, guys, that is our first show for the month of April on financial literacy.
Yeah.
So this is a challenge for you. So over the next 30 days, really take these steps and look them over and make a commitment to make a change for yourself, and then to monitor those and make some goals on where you want to be after and this is a good time because we're in a pandemic and we still are not operating at 100%. It's going to be a minute. So you got some minutes in order to really take assessment. And maybe you started and now let's get real serious about it. We want you to come out on the other side of this pandemic successful. We're all working toward that. And so we want to make sure you are. So that's our show for the day.
Remember that this video is going to be on Facebook. I mean on YouTube. So you can go to YouTube and type The Business Zone with Crystal and Gilbert, or just type The Business Zone. And we'll pop up. You'll see all of our shows. You can select this one. And you can go back and play this over again. So you can listen to some of the key points that Crystal and I talked about. And that may help. Now, Crystal launched a challenge to you guys. And I'm hoping you take her up on that. So you can come back to us and say, hey, Crystal said that she wanted to see how we can, one, increase our revenue streams of money coming in, and two, minimize our level of liability and exposure to taxes. If you can do those things and then come back and let us know, that will be a great accomplishment. Go ahead, Crystal.
Yeah. So before we tune out, I want everyone to know that our summer biz camp, the platform that I do every year for young people on how to become entrepreneurial, starts in July. And so if you have a youth between the ages of 13 and 18, we'd love to have them in the program. It's a free class. The kids will learn so much. They will learn to start their own business, and they will actually compete for a monetary reward. And then they can actually look at taking that program and really starting their own business, because that's our other plan, is to get them. I was trying to find it, Gilbert, so I could share it.
Yeah.
So let me get over here to the share.
And just so you guys know, these kids are learning real valuable tools and how to become entrepreneurs. And at the end of the day, they just are amazing at what they do. Go ahead, Crystal. So,
They are. We're so excited about these kids. So this program right here is the virtual biz camp free youth entrepreneur program. You To sign up your kid free is go to the LA Urban League laul.org biz camp under their programs and sign your child up. And we're excited this year, Gilbert, because not only are we have the biz camp program, we are also starting in May a free America on Tech workshop. So the
oh
kids are
wow,
going to learn how to code and introduce an introduction to various coding and technical topics that can help prepare them for degrees and careers in technology.
I love that.
And if that's not enough, then in August, we're having another program that's a virtual program, and it's a STEM based program, and it's going to teach the children about technology, creativity, and provide them an opportunity to design and receive personal and to design and receive personalized apparel at the same time. So we're going to teach them how talk to them and expose them to technology. We're going to teach them how to create their own business, and then we're going to go into this workshop series. It's called My One of One, and teach them how to use their creativity to create products for their business,
I love
and
that.
then
I
help them
love
get
that.
launched. So parents, if you have a child between the ages of 13 and 18 who live in LA County and are interested in starting or growing their own business, have them reach out to the Los Angeles Urban League Biz Camp. And you can register today. I'm one of the instructors for the Biz Camp, and my partner Rhonda Hobart is the instructor for the Biz Institute, and that's for the kids that already have a growing business. So sign up today because the space is limited. It's free. Your kids will have an absolutely amazing time. And this will be something that they will carry into their personal lives and to their adult lives. And it will help them on their pathway to success. So
And on
that,
the website, there are past graduates of the program, past kids who have graduated from the program, and they'll tell you exactly what they've done, what they've accomplished, how they've mastered the business. And just so you all know that after they go through that program, the winners, the first, second, and third place winners, are guaranteed a spot on the Business Zone show to be interviewed and to talk about their business, their product, their services, and we can elevate them to the next level. So this is going to be phenomenal.
yeah, it's phenomenal. So we're excited about that. So get your kids registered ASAP because we have limiting seating, but we'd love to have your child. So that's it for this week. It's
Yeah,
been a great show. We want to
yeah.
thank you guys. We want
Remind
to
them,
wish
remind them
you
what station they're viewing, Crystal.
you are tuned in to the Business Zone with Crystal and Gilbert. All we ask you to do is to subscribe. All this amazing information that you receive, subscribe to our YouTube channel at the Business Zone with Crystal and Gilbert on YouTube. You can also check us out on Facebook. Thank you, Ardina. And tune back in next week. And if you go to the subscribe, hit the bell, you get a notification when we come back on next week. We have a great guest for next week, right?
Oh yes, we've got an amazing Latina who is going to participate in our program on our show next week, and she is a commissioner of procurement, one of the first first Latinas to be awarded that position. So she also has a boot camp coming up for restaurant owners. It's called the Latino Restaurant Association, but you don't necessarily have to be Latinos to be a part of that program. So if you guys are interested, if you run a restaurant, you got a food truck, or you got some type of food entity catering, and you want in on this program, make sure you watch next week's Business Zone. It's going to be amazing. And
Um,
Ardina, thank you for watching, Ardina. And Calvin, thank you too.
All righty, guys. Yeah, I was excited because she started the Latina trade shows for restaurant
Yes,
owners.
yes,
Yeah, I'm
yes.
excited to meet her. And then the week after that, we have Miss Tanya Mackey. She's the CEO of National Fringe Benefits, and Tanya actually has a program going on right now on women creating wealth, and she's been doing this for all of last year, and so she's in an enrollment period right now. So ladies out there, I know you guys are killing it, so we want to make sure that you're creating plans for all that money that you're making. So reach out to Tanya Mackey, but she'll be right here on next on the 16th and talking about her program. And then Gilbert, I met a young lady there that she was referred to me. This lady, young girl, is doing some amazing things in the media world. She's a film producer and she does social media management. She's just pretty awesome, and she's looking to start connecting. She moved here from DC, so she's looking to connect with our business owners here. So
That's
she's going to be
beautiful.
on the show in possibly the 23rd. So we got a fantastic month scheduled. So we want you guys to tune in. And you are tuned in right now to the Business Zone with Christo
And Gilbert Buchanan, your small business paramedic.
All righty. So, guys, have a happy
Easter.
Good Friday and a good Easter with your family. Spend time with your family. Be safe, mask up, social distance, and we'll see you next week.
All
Have a good
right.
one.
We're out.
As a small biz pro, I saw we roll, using procurement, program, and control. As a small biz pro, I saw we grow, using procurement, program, and control. I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur.
All righty.
All righty. And now